Oh, right. On today's
Cool, cool,
episode, we
cool.
have a special guest who's someone that's very close to my heart. I address her as mother, since she gives me the space and warmth just like any mother is for her child, which is always special. So, hello, Tripti Ma, and welcome to Second Life After 40, a podcast which was initiated by two close buddies who are staying across different continents of this globe. The concept of this podcast was brewed over a few calls between Sujay and me, to think that what we can really offer to others, be it in the space of parenting, professional lives, relationships, growth, mental health, and finally, to sum it up as who you are at this age and in this point of time. Uh, all this will be dwelled as we go through this journey of conversations with complete honesty and zero judgment. So I think it's best that you and all the other listeners who will listen to this podcast, it's better that we all grab a cup of coffee and take few sips of life. So welcome aboard.
Thank you. Thank you
Yes,
so much.
Tripti, Ma, as whatever I can call you as Ma, it would be great if you could just give us few tinkle liners of yourself on this podcast.
Uh, what do I say? When you call somebody Ma, you don't need more introduction at all when that comes. What else can one introduce themselves more when you have a person calling you Ma? इससे बड़ा introduction क्या हो सकता है? And Dhaval, uh, this has been something which I cherish because uh, I have many more children than I have right from the beginning since I got married. So this is beautiful when you said that. And podcast पे हैं और I didn't expect. But it's the inner feelings and it's the raw element that we are all looking here at. So going with it.
Absolutely.
Yes. So of course, Dhaval, your ma, and I am Tripti. And yes, so I've been exploring varied facets of the life and have been moving through it with different designations. And right now, I'm an integrated emotional wellness coach. I use holistic mediums to work with people. And I'm founder of Trishti Healing Arts, where I feel every aspect of every kind of art can give us healing. And that's the reason why every civilization has always in some or the other way, always pinpointed towards art as an healing agent. So we can't extend what we have not received,
Mm.
right? So I received something, something healed me through art, and that's what I'm extending to people, slowly moving into looking into life. So as your podcast says, life 40. So yes, as life starts moving ahead in different phases of our life, something transforms us also, isn't it? So introductions keep changing, and our task towards the community keeps changing. First, it starts changing towards us, and whatever changes us, we always want to extend it to the community. So right now, in that space, where I'm trying to move more deeper into community, looking into different things at my this phase of life. So yeah,
Nice.
that's what I am, and that's what I do.
Yes.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome.
So, uh, and since we are on this phase where we spoke about what we're going to go through,
Mhm.
it pertains to you completely. And we just trying to take snippets of each part of those life journeys that you have. And, we'll walk through various aspects. And Sujay and I will be holding this podcast how much close we can and however easy and comfortable we can go with it. So we'll begin with the segment of reflection, or rather self reflection as well. And here, I just wanted to ask, what are you most surprised about getting old, since you're in the 40 and 50s?
I've entered 50, huh?
uh,
So, okay, that's a lovely question. And if I look at it, uh, what surprises most is my energy, honestly. So I always heard when I was in my 20s, even before that, that I have extra energy. I'm very energetic. So yeah, being a Gemini, they say you have dual energy, that's how they say that. So bachpan se hi
Yeah.
suna hai. Everybody used to say that to me. You have excessive energy. And I had heard that as you grow older, the energy levels come down.
Right.
No,
Mhm.
I'm still doing that. So that's one thing that keeps surprising me. And my family keeps saying the same thing, whether they are my elders. Even now, my children keep saying, how do you match your energy? From where do you get it? How do you keep doing so much? And that's wherever, whichever place I have been, and they keep saying, आप थकते नहीं हो?
Mm.
Don't you get tired? How do you do this? How can you do multiple things? So now I start blaming it on I being a Gemini. So earlier I used to say, oh, I'm just like that. I've rested enough. They used to say, sit down, take rest. Now also people come and they tell me. So this is one thing which keeps
Uh,
surprising me often, that touch wood, they say it's good. So my energy levels, I'm 50 and
Amazing.
I'm still the same. So I've been going for trekking with the 30s and you know
Mm.
late 30s, early 40s, and I'm going trekking with them. And they look at me, and when I tell them I'm 51, and they're like, really? And you still want to trek? I
Yeah.
said, yeah, I do. And I have a huge body,
Yes.
heavy body. So, double people like us, people think ye kaise karega. But no, I'm blessed with that. So that is one thing which has been surprising me. And somewhere it should be genetic, I think, because I do have a Masi who's 85 and
Oh,
still quite
Mm.
energetic.
wow.
And I'm looking forward to being that, of
Amazing.
course. I want to keep surprising myself with this energy till that, if I live
Awesome.
that
Yes.
long.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
I've just started, speaking to you and gotten to know you, right? And that was truly the first thing that I could see from you. Even just on the video call, that energy that comes across. You're not still sitting like this and talking never. So that just is.
It's going between
I mean, yes,
technologies though.
that I know, surging across continents. Yeah,
And
Nice.
because
you
I
will
mean,
see that energy in my thought process also.
uh,
Like, I have
yeah.
this kind of thought
Mm,
process also. The thinking also doesn't tire me. In fact, it's like a fuel at times. If I work, I can work more, is how I am. If I sleep, then it is a little this. But for me, it's like it just increases.
yeah,
I don't know how. And people keep asking how, what do you
that.
eat? What are the supplements? I don't take anything. So I don't know. I really don't. So it
Awesome.
just works.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Energy is what is surprising me
amazing.
still.
people say no, you have your chi. Your energy is your body itself, I think.
Oh.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah. So on that note as well, when was the last time you surprised yourself? It could be in any way, a good way or bad way, but mostly the good ways.
Oh, in a good way, if you say, when I turned 49, I surprised myself. I'm the one who began a kind of tradition in my family. It was in my family, my dad's side, that we used to celebrate all birthdays together, making it a very special
Mm,
day for the person. The person doesn't have to think, we go through everything. It was always like that.
mhm.
So I got this to my in law's
Nice.
place. I used to do it for everyone. And when my kids started growing up, we made it an elaborate one, where we know. And I was the one always doing that. But on my 49th birthday, being the last year in the 40, I again somewhere surprised everyone by saying this time I'm not celebrating birthday with everybody and I'm going on a solo trip. So I took a solo trip, absolutely unplanned. And because of my energy levels, everyone said, no, we need a date. So we will book your ticket that you're going and the coming one. Because we know once you go, you might take months and you might not come back. So they were like, so I was told, no, we'll book both the tickets. So only the flight
Gosh.
tickets were booked, uh,
Yeah.
went through. Everything else was a slight plan, like jana, either jana, ye karna hai. I had those things in mind. But I went very impromptu. So I took a solo trip at 49, landed at Manali, which is not a destination place for people like who are turning 50s. I wanted to go to Spiti. and it was raining very heavily. So when I reached Manali, 4 days it was like
Mhm.
pouring, not raining, it was pouring in the month of June. So first week of June, which is very unlikely over there. That's what they were saying, this kind of pour. And yeah, that's how it goes. And I had to cancel the Spiti because Spiti was something which I landed at Manali and I paid and I
Mm.
just booked everything. But there was some
Mm.
destiny, I don't know, whatever was booked, I could not be there. That's where I landed back to Chandigarh.
Mm.
Uh,
Mm.
and I also went to Amritsar, Golden Temple. I landed up
Nice.
there,
Nice.
which was my dad's wish. So I had lost my dad just a
Mm.
year ago. Not even a year, it was hardly
Mm.
sometime. So when I went there, I think I wanted to be there with him, and destiny took me there, right there. So I went there, I was there, I
Yeah.
was in Amritsar, then in Chandigarh. And so that was one thing that I surprised myself because taking a decision of not celebrating with a birthday with everyone was something
Mm.
which was I shocked. I was not only surprised, I was also shocked. How could I do that? And I did it. I did it. I could land back on time with these people.
So,
So, yeah,
so,
and it
so
was
when you
actually backpack, going in a bus, just taking a random bus. Kitne baje ki hai? Okay, it is at 10:30. So, okay, fine. I'll go at 10:30, be there. Landing up somewhere at 2:30 midnight, having only a haversack, no trolley bags,
Wow.
nothing. So it was absolutely solo trip and wonderful one. I met beautiful
I
people
mean,
over there. Still in touch with them. Yeah, still.
oh
Nice.
yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. So you must have made some new friends along the way,
So many.
right? Yeah, and yeah, if you're in touch with them, I mean, what kind of new relationships or new friendships that you've made that, or anyone who stands out from that trip?
So from that trip, you mean? Or
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, or in general, as you turned.
so uh, on that trip, whoever I met were half my age, most of them. They were in their late 20s. So solo travelers are mostly in their late 20s.
Yeah.
And but I was so welcomed by them. I stayed in a dorm. So that was another thing, shit. Me
Mm.
at this age staying in a dorm with the mixed crew. Oh, even the person was like the hostel guy was also like, "Are you sure, ma'am?" I said, "Yeah, I'm very sure." And and I traveled along with
Cool.
these boys and girls. So this one girl from there whom I got very close to. We both got very close to her. I'm still in touch with her.
Mm.
She is hot.
Mm.
She's now 30. She now turned 30. So this girl has
Yeah.
been the one whom I got closer to. We keep
Mm.
talking. She had a lot to share, and I don't know what it is with me. Sometimes I'm scared. I just make people cry. Or they feel it's safe to just express. So that's what happened with both of us. And she
Mm.
came, she did. I was grieving,
It's
honestly, at that
amazing.
time. I'll not
Mm.
lie, I was grieving. And I met this girl. She was also grieving differently. And
Mm.
that's where she opened up, and we spent a lot of time. In fact, she canceled her another trip. And we again met
Mm.
unknowingly. We met again at Amritsar on my second day.
Okay.
So
Right.
I was like, oops. And then she said, I'm staying in some other hostel. And I didn't want to change. I said, no, I'm all here. Uh, but then, yeah, we met again. She came all the
Yeah.
way to drop me on my last day. So, yeah, made new
Oh,
friends. New friends. Most of these,
that is.
they
Yeah.
call me directly Tripti. Yeah, they don't call me anything Aarti or something. So they still call me Tripti.
Mm.
I met two
Uh,
boys. So there were two. One is this
Yeah.
girl, and there's one more boy whom I met. Both
Mm.
of them are in touch with. Yeah. So new
Amazing.
friends,
Amazing.
new
Yes.
language.
Yeah.
Honestly, the new language with all those abbreviations. हम लोग abbreviations companies के ही रखा करते थे यार, इससे ज्यादा abbreviations हमारे नहीं होते थे. ज्यादा से ज्यादा I think when WhatsApp came in, Sujay, I think
Mm.
we started using deleting some of these vowels.
Yes.
Vowels started moving
Yeah.
out is what happened. So
Yeah.
the
It's like
emotionless
too many letters.
emoticons, I must say. Yes,
uh,
those sets when those were there, that's it, max. But nowadays, with all
Mm.
those, if
Nice.
you know, you
That
know, it's
yeah.
difficult.
Right.
But I'm
Yeah.
getting
Well,
used to it with these newer friends. We have to get to their
uh,
levels, they bring us to
yeah.
their level.
No.
Friendships
No.
do that, no?
Good.
They
Good.
give you
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
what they carry along with them. So yeah, that's what I'm receiving from them, the new
That's
perspective, the way of looking at life,
mm,
and absolutely how we see them and actually how they exist
mm,
is also what we see when we meet these youngsters, because we think differently about them, but what they go through from
mm,
inside is very different, very different. So that's what is one more thing which
right.
makes me ponder at times.
Mm,
And
right. Yeah.
younger
Yeah.
people in your friendship bring
Mm,
a new perspective towards what is happening in today.
Yeah. They
हम
give you
yeah.
the
nostalgic
Yeah.
होते हैं ना when we are together as old friends.
Yeah.
they give you
We
the
see.
real view of today's times.
Yes. Yeah, we look back at our younger age possibly as, with the sepia tones and,
Mhm,
they're all
mhm.
nice and this is what we used to do and this is how we used to enjoy. But yeah, they gave us another perspective of, being young in this world with, how do you navigate?
Right.
I find
Right.
it more
And
difficult, I think, when I'm meeting these they are finding it more difficult as compared to us.
mm,
Our life were much more simpler, less judged. Uh, Parents with
imagine, yeah.
the resources were limited, so
Mm,
a kind of limited push. They knew only to push at one certain space. Now the parents also have too many things to look into, so they themselves are very confused if you look at them. So what will they
mm,
guide the children? So it's everything is more of I must say outsourced. We depend
mm,
so much on the external factors than the internal ones. So these
right.
children really really have a difficulty when you look at them. They are like children to me, of course, 25, 26. They call me Tripti, but than that. But I see them in a very difficult world. We were lucky. So it
Yeah.
brings gratitude, honestly, whatever I
Agree.
am
Mm,
today, because I was born in those days, so the 70, 80
yeah.
till 90 is still good. After that is very difficult for them. Too many things came to them. Yeah.
True. True. I think
So,
we'll touch on those aspects a bit more later.
yeah, I do have a question which was connected to the 59. No, rather 49. My
Oh
bad.
God.
To the 49. And I'll come
We
back
are
to that
talking
as
about the
well.
future as well. Who knew?
So is there a part of your life that feels like it's just started right now? Something that,
Ah,
just got halted up, and then now you feel that life is just rushed and now it's
Yeah.
starting all over again.
I'd say yes. Because I'm a grandmom too. I have a 7-year-old grandchild who's just turned 7. Okay.
Wow.
So uh, being a young grandmom, being a, you know, um, the kids are already older, they are in their 30s. So looking at that, yes, life becomes different at this age. If you're
Mm,
60s, most of the people who have these 30-year-old kids are in their 60s, and मेरे पास 10 years extra है. So I have more energy, more things, and I'm still working. Maybe I
yes.
cannot be there for them at times, the way they might be. It's easier to ask a 60-year-old who's retired to just be at home and look
Mm,
after things. I'm still in my
mm,
zone of still doing more. So I don't know, maybe I'm not there for them sometimes. Sometimes I feel, and sometimes it's easier for me to take my holidays, go around because they are there on
mm,
their own. I don't have to look at the
Yeah.
younger kids. So if they are in their
mm,
20s and still schooling or in college, it would have been different. But my friends, all my school friends, they struggle. They
mm,
love that about, they'd say that to me most of the time. We love the way you can travel, you can go out, you can do things. You're much free.
mm,
So,
mm,
yes, much free to do a lot of things. But yeah, so that's one thing which I think is something wonderful of marrying early, having kids early. So, yeah, being more free. So, this is one brand new thing that has started with me. Like, I take up more things, I move around, I
mm.
uh, meet more people. I sit in cafes. So when I sit in
I
cafes,
Mm.
know.
also cafe is
I
also
know.
places
I
where
know.
mostly you find all the pieces. So I take, yes, so Dhaval, you had a piece of it, right? I sit in cafes. Uh, I ended one thing also where, as a therapist, a few years
Mm,
back, after COVID, I gave up my clinic and I
mm,
started doing everything in the open, whether it's in a cafe or at a beach or in a garden. So this is one absolutely brand new thing that I started, and I always wanted to do something in the open, but I never knew
mm,
this is what would take place. So I'm still exploring. So this is one
mm.
new facet of my life that I've just started exploring, and I'm enjoying it thoroughly, thoroughly. Yeah, say that.
Amazing.
Nice. So what would your 20 years old self think about who you are right now then?
I think she would love it. She had much more responsibilities at 20. I already had two kids. My other daughter was born when I was 20. So I already had two kids at 20. I'm sure she might be very jealous of me right now. She'll say, "Oh God, you're enjoying much more than how you were at that time." And she'll be very proud of me with what where I had never thought I'll reach here. So I'm super grateful to
Mm,
the universe for where it has put me, to God for everything that I've received, and all the good people that I've met. So I am
mm,
I am blessed, is what I will say. I'm blessed. My 20-year-old will feel very proud of me from where we started. Because I completed all my education, everything after my
mm,
marriage, after the
Oh,
kids. So I took a nice
nice.
9-year gap. My both the kids were a little older when I actually
okay.
restarted studying. So
Mm,
of course, she
gosh.
struggled a lot to
Yes.
make me what I am today, is what. So I don't know what she's thinking about me, but I'm grateful. She struggled, she chose the hard way. So today I can be what I am. She chose the hard way. She never chose the easier ones. She could
Mm,
have easily sat at home, looked after the kid, not done anything, but she chose
Yeah.
to study. She chose to go ahead. She chose to look after the kids and as well as explore and do more. So she really
mm,
worked very hard at that time, along with those two children to upbring. When I look at parents and I meet them, I know what are their struggles. So now I can sometimes when I look back and I don't remember everything, how much of struggle. I
mm,
think I never gave intentionally. I never tried to pay attention to what is not there even at that time. So
mm.
I'm thankful to my 20-year-old instead of talking of what she's feeling. I think I will say how I feel about her. And I'm absolutely grateful for her taking whatever steps she took at that time so that
You,
I can be what I am today. So
you are
thank you,
totally the
ma'am.
curious
Okay.
case of Tripti Raikwar. It's like people
How?
who talk about, going back in time and feeling remorse, or at least feel a little bit guilty, or at least feel at least, okay, that did not happen. But here I'm just seeing someone who's just opposite
Okay.
and saying, oh, really, thanks to you that I'm here right now in this phase
Oh,
of my life.
yes, yes. If
Yes.
she had chosen not to study, or if she had chosen not to do anything, be as it is, and just
Mm,
upbring the kids and not do anything and become just a housewife, this is what I would have never been.
yeah.
So I'm
Mm,
super thankful to my younger self for
amazing.
where I have reached, and I hope
Mm.
I am a good younger self to the upcoming one. I hope 20
Yes.
years down the line, I say the same thing about the 50-year-old me. I just hope so.
That is, yes.
Yeah.
And
So
that's why
no.
everyone, the question that's asked, like I was saying, right? What would you tell your 20 or 30-year-old self? What is that one thing, or what's differently you could have done, right? Maybe the question should be, what you would your 70, 80-year-old self would say about you, and then think and work on that from now on, right? It's like
Totally, totally. Yeah, agreed.
Oh no,
I
don't
think I'm
tell
going to
me that.
rephrase
That's
this
not fair.
question now.
Who asks such questions?
It
yeah.
would be second life, no, third life after 40, no, third life
Oh
after
my God.
70.
Oh goodness,
Nice.
that if you
Yes.
that's a question you want to ask me, Jay?
I don't know. I mean, maybe,
Nobody have ever
or
asked a
have you
question
have
like
you
this.
asked
They
your
always ask about the older ones.
Or maybe in a way, what else would you want to do? Or right, what is that when you take a pause, you think about?
Mm.
Maybe let me put it in that way.
So I'm slowly learning to not do anything at times. I have
Mm,
slowed down maximum with my energy levels. To slow down is like वो screeching sound आता है पता है the brake का. I'm in
mm,
that mode of that screeching sound is still going on. It is the brake is not fully applied yet. Movement is still happening with that
right.
screech. I'm actually
Right.
there. So I am learning to be okay with not doing anything. This is the last 2 years is where, not even 2 years, it's almost one and a half year where I guilt freely take a nap. Daytime nap
Mm,
was a kind of, I've never taken naps since my childhood till, yeah, no, I've never taken nap. Now
gosh.
I guilt freely take. In fact, when my daughter sees me and I say, okay, I'm going for my 10, 20, 30-minute nap, and she's like, wow, because they've
Mm,
never seen me
God.
do that.
They don't-
Uh,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
it can also be a conditioning because my mom was such, and she used to always not allow us to sleep in the afternoons. Afternoon
Mm,
was something to do something creative. So after the lunch, no nap. Why do you need a nap at this? You're not old, is how
mm,
she would say.
mm.
So although we had a school,
You're
we used
right.
to wake up at 5:30, go at 6:30, 7 o'clock a school tha. But no, we
Mm,
never took a nap. So she would say you can read a book, do some
yeah,
creative work. So she taught us all those embroidery and knitting and all those, so painting, coloring, whatever, but no sleep. And then four
nice.
o'clock, get freshen up, have your tea, or if you, I never had tea, so have whatever
Mm,
you feel like, and then go for play.
right.
If you really want to
Gosh.
do something, then she'll say, if you don't have anything else to do, complete your homework. So homework ko to nahi baithna tha. Who wanted to do that? I would sit and do all those artistic thing at that time. So I think that
Nice.
was a kind of a conditioning which never allowed me to rest. Uh,
Mm,
Even when unwell, until and unless things are not done, I can't go and rest. I just can't sleep. That's how I used to be.
mm,
But
mm,
I have learned slowly. I said the screeching is still on. I'm learning slowly to be okay if things are all like this and if I want to take a nap. So my nap is a nap. I do take a nap, afternoon nap these days. Sometimes 15 minutes, 10 minutes. It's not like how people sleep.
mm.
My husband can sleep for 2 hours and he's all good about it. Okay. And he says it's my beauty sleep and it's a huge sleep. But he can still take it. I can't sleep like that. But yes, I'm
Right.
learning. So this is one new thing which I'm doing these
Mm,
days. I'm learning how to be restful. So for my older self, I
mm,
think
mm.
I will master that art a little better. When
Slowly
you
increase
need
it
it,
to
I
two
think.
hours.
Get it to
No,
two
no, no.
hours.
I don't
No,
think
no.
2 hours. No. 2 hours
or
is too
or
much. If I
probably
Right.
or
sleep
No,
2 hours,
that
I
probably
won't
is.
sleep at night.
or probably make others also sleep for 2 more hours
Yeah, two
together.
hours.
Then I'll have to make a workshop out of it. A sleeping workshop. Right, right. I don't think. But
No,
yes,
that
I'm
is.
learning. I'm learning to slow down. I'm learning to
And
pause. As you
that's.
said, I have learned how to pause now. I actually can pause and
Mm,
not do anything and not feel guilty about it. The bigger part is not feeling guilty. Earlier also, I used to
awesome.
take a
Yeah.
pause if I'm unwell or something. But that still
Mm,
made me guilty. I can itna takat nahi rakhi. Come on, get up. You can at least clean the library. Usme what is such a big thing?
mm,
So
Mm.
those voices are. I now have learned those voices are not my voices. They were voices of the people
yeah.
who have taken care of us, and they have been telling us that what's there to
Mm,
rest. So I think it comes from there, and I'm unlearning those processes
Yeah.
so that so yeah.
that's that's
So
an amazing
It's
thought.
quite
Yes.
surprising that even when and this is just taking me back to the podcast that I or the discussion that I had with Jirisha, and she also very very uh, I don't know, I'm not getting the right word, but very very aptly, subtly she said the same thing as what you said. You know, I'm at that phase in life where I don't have to hurry up and do things. I just want to take time for myself, pace it out in my own
Mm,
ways and means, and not just because somebody is just telling, just jump on the bus and move. I move,
mm,
but I move at my contented way of going along, rather than just like how you go to probably a hill station, and then you see how the stream just moves freely without any rush, without any gush. I just want to be like
Mm-hmm.
that. And you just say the same thing exactly like how Jin is saying. I don't know why all of you in this segment of serving rather than I would say it's probably serving the serving to
Mm.
everybody that you meet, right? To the needy, to the people who really are longing for it. So all of those segments, you, Janisha, Kejal, and the X number of people that I've met in this line,
Mm.
at some point in time, they have been only giving their heart, soul, and energy outside. And now it's like, okay, now I want to take it back in, go take
Mm.
it slowly within me, process it, and then come back and go do things. No, I
Uh,
just felt that it's there, and
mm.
and it comes around these 45 to 50 gap pay that
Mm.
okay, people just don't want to rush. They want to just say, can I just watch the day just pass through without any note of or mental note of saying, oh, I have to take care of someone or I
Mhm.
have to do something which is there. I just want to just ease it out as it goes. So
For
yeah,
me, it started
that's
quite
a
early,
good
like
thing
in
because
38,
I
38, 39. I started there itself, where
Mm.
even with my
hmm,
workshops, so whenever I do something, I plan those things. I have never been in a hurry. Like people will say, well, let's do it. So when I feel
Mm.
I'm ready, I will do it. Even if it's just 8 days before that. So like my retreat, when I
Mm.
had put my first retreat, people told me you have to wait for at least 3 to 4 months, the date should be
Mm.
4 months later. It cannot be within a month or so. You won't get that many
Mm.
participants and all that. And I said, ठीक है, जो मिलेंगे वो.
No.
And that I'm ready. So when I'm ready, I think everything else is ready, is how I always used to feel. So I started there. When I started with Trishti at that time itself, I started with this thing, and it's getting better as I'm
hmm.
Mm.
growing with it. It's getting better. So I put my workshop, the retreat, just 25 days before the actual date, and within the first 8 days, it was all full.
Mm.
So
Oh, nice.
this is one thing which also, you how sure are you about what you want to do?
Like,
Mm.
So I learned it by
That.
trusting myself. And I've been trusting my voice since a long time, I think. Earlier, there used to be two voices. There was another one also trying to,
hello.
but now it's getting stronger. It's like, okay, I want to
Hello.
do
I
this.
think.
And
Please
And
get back.
but I think yeah, there is she. She's back.
Yeah,
to hear
We
something, I
can.
don't know. That's why I said
it got
yes.
it got
I think it got, yeah, paused a bit midstream.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, yeah, you brought up some really nice points. I was just telling the whole that, right? Unlearn, pause, right, and reflect, and be sure of yourself. Listen to your voice more. I mean, yeah, some of really fantastic thoughts and things that we all can try and work on ourselves with.
cool. All right, so we're jumping on a few more things, and it's going to be exciting, I think.
Yes,
Okay,
Everything is exciting.
absolutely exciting.
what do your best days lately have in common?
Uh, my best days these days is when early morning I'm at the beach, not doing
Oh,
much, sometimes taking a session, and then after a session, just still sitting over there for an hour or two, going to the
Mm,
nearby cafe, having my favorite tea. It's an hibiscus tea that they offer there. Coming
mm,
home around, say, taking my own time, cooking when I'm hungry, and
mm,
allowing other people to cook when they want to cook for themselves sometimes. So this is very lately I've learned that I'm not supposed to do everything for everyone. As an adult, everyone have their own pace and let them work it out. I'm not supposed to. So
mm,
serving has become different now. So my best days are when I take my own time. And as you were talking about Janisha, that going to a hill, sitting. Nowadays, I can just sit down in my veranda and just look at the sky and keep looking at it. I do a lot of gardening. I get more time to do my gardening. So these are my
Right.
best days.
Nice.
Mm.
Evenings have become also extremely slow. Like,
Mm.
and I'm not guilty of watching a show. Earlier, it was like, oh, I'm wasting my time. Now it's not like that. If I feel good, I take my notes, and my learning happen in everything that I want to learn from.
Mm.
And it has not become like taking up a course or doing something. No, I'm expanding my learning through taking it from anywhere. So I watched the animal movie thrice.
Oh,
I
wow.
wanted to look at it from the therapist's point of
That
view.
is.
What's wrong in it?
Mm.
So first time it was like, take it as it is. So, huh?
I think you may be the only person who watched it thrice.
Not once, not twice, twice.
I know.
So the third time was because
God.
in one of the forums, the therapist forum,
Mm.
there were some questions that came up, and I said, "How did I miss this? I didn't see this. How did I not notice this?"
Mm.
So I saw it
Okay.
thrice. Durandar I saw
Mm.
twice just
Mm-hmm.
to look at the
Mm.
character of what they do. What does a person like? When I went for the second time, I was trying to look at each character, how beautifully you can build, look, and we always have a choice now
Mm-hmm.
whether how do you want to see things is your choice. So at
Yeah.
this age, something which is so violent, do I want to take the violence in, or do I want to
Mm.
take the other
Oh,
thing? So there's so many other things inside it. Why do I choose only to see what is so loud?
Mm.
Can I
yes.
sometimes allow that noise to not
Mm.
penetrate me and just see what I want to see and take what I need to take?
Awesome.
So
Yes.
I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
learning, but yeah,
No,
that's what
that is.
I did.
Nice.
So people knowing me and seeing me doing it, so I sometimes suggest them a Netflix series, and they say, "आप Netflix भी देखते हो?" I said, "हाँ, of course. क्यों क्या हो गया?" I said, "What's wrong in it?"
इंसान हूँ.
Yeah. No, but for them it's like, so it's such a long series. You've seen both the seasons. I said, of course. Look at it. See what that character is
Yeah.
trying to tell you. Learn. Story is, मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि हमारी प्रथा कथा की है, we are people of stories.
Mm.
Everything has a story. We are based on a story. What are we
Yeah,
doing today? We are looking at a life story only, of
correct.
someone.
Mm.
What is a podcast?
Yeah.
True.
When you call someone there,
Absolutely.
you're moving through that person's life stories, experiences, trying to gather something out of
Mm.
it, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Then isn't cinema a big medium? They've learned
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
to bring things to you, and not only you, to varied people. So they have masala for everyone. You know now what is your
Mm.
taste. So pick
Mm.
up that from there. You
Yeah,
must know how to not take what is not yours from things
yeah.
and not keep complaining about it. So I loved it. Every
Amazing.
core. I love
Yeah.
the step.
That
I love this guy. And
is.
yes, of course, I like Akshay Khanna, of course. So that's another part of it. So, I'm learning to accept it also. Oh, yeah, I like Akshay Khanna. I can see all his movies
that's
all over again.
that's all another podcast, I guess.
That's an
But
exclusive,
taking it,
exclusive.
yeah. Even from today,
No, yes.
when you put a podcast, people will take in from the podcast what they
Mm.
need to.
Mm.
We
Yeah,
need to learn to take and not say कि 10 minutes का ही मेरे काम का था, बाकी का तो नहीं था. अरे भाई, 10
Mm.
minutes भी तुम्हें मिला ना. It's a gem. You have to dig
Yes.
the whole land to get that
correct.
small piece of diamond.
Amazing.
You can't
Yes.
directly go there. So
Absolutely.
we need to learn that patience need to be developed, which is not there.
Mm.
Or that thought, more than patience, I think it's the thought process.
Yeah.
Don't take in
Yeah,
everything.
that's
Enjoy
yes.
it.
Yeah.
So
True.
this is how
True.
I'm taking
I
it.
mean, yeah. It's not just entertainment. It is. Yeah.
Totally.
What work has gone behind it? What they have. Why is that
Yes.
character saying that or acting like that? If we analyze that, if we think about it, maybe
The
that gives
casting,
us a
they
bit
have done
more.
a
Yeah.
wonderful job by the
Wonderful.
casting. Oh,
Yes.
come on. Behind the scene, people have worked like how beautifully. See that. Even
True.
when you see a small play, you go and see how
Mm.
very, how they have to, it's a live performance, right?
Mm.
It is so easy to forget a dialogue and yet
Mm.
be there with all that confidence and going ahead. It's not easy. Go
Mm.
stand on the stage, you will come to know. So we need to learn to appreciate.
Oh,
So even in a
yes.
metro, when I'm sitting in a metro, I'm so happy these days. Oh wow, Local travel is so difficult in Mumbai. Those who have been in Mumbai, they know locals and peak hours. But with metro, because it's
Yes.
AC, I'm happy. It's good. It's made life easier.
Mm,
Okay, fine. There might be something, structures that have changed because of it, whatsoever. But it has made life easier.
Yeah.
Ask the
mm,
people who have to travel every day 4 hours. Let's take
mm,
what is
mm.
good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't complain about the honeycomb. Take the honey and whatever you can do, do it with that comb. What else can we do? So I'm slowly becoming that,
Yes.
working on it. This is my
Mm,
new, I must say, goal
Mm.
till I reach
mm,
60. I don't want to be the grumpy old mommy who keeps complaining about everything. I'm slowly trying to take what is good,
mm.
what is, I must say, Amrit for me, what is the elixir for me, and leaving apart what is not required. Uska compost ban
Yes.
jayega. Let that get composted. Yeah.
Uh,
Nice. And just the last segment of this self-reflection
Last segment.
aspect, we're talking about what's something about yourself that changed in a way you're proud of now.
Wow, if I can breathe like this, there's something much more than what I can put in words.
You can take a time, no
that
problem.
is.
When you say that, when you ask this question, I'll say the grief changed me very differently. I had not thought about how I'm today going to be this 5 years ago. So from 22 till 24, there were constant grief at home. I lost my mom-in-law. I lost my dog who was with me for 16 years. I lost a brother who was born right in front of me
Oh.
in a train accident. And exactly in 1 year itself, that's from May to July, I lost my dog, my brother, and my dad.
Mm.
So grief till 24,
Mm,
and then my church also, who was the last elder I had from my dad's family last year. So till 24, things have been like this, and grief changed me very differently. So
mm,
it has taught me that it's whatever I have is more than enough. मुझे जितना चाहिए उतना मेरे पास है.
mm,
हाँ, मेरी ज़रूरतें हैं क्योंकि it's a collective family needs that we all need to
mm,
go through and do. And it will be taken care of. Everything can be
Mm.
taken care of. We need to sometimes just see that it will happen at its right time. So grief allowed me to also not become too much engrossed even in my work. You
Mm.
know, work is not life. Not distracting myself from what is my real things happening in life. And that's what
mm,
we do. As soon as we have something which is going to take away the peace of mind, it pulls us
mm,
down. We start feeling low. The first thing we want to do is get back to work. And I've done that. When my mom passed away in 2015, I did that. Third day
mm,
after she passed away, I
mm,
was at the school back because it was the first batch. It was first grade one. Kids were very
mm,
young. They wanted the class teacher. I just went back. Now I know I did not go back for the children.
mm,
I wanted to go back for myself. And I'll be honest about it. I didn't realize at that time, but I was not doing it for the
mm,
school. I was not doing it for the children. Those were just excuses and reasons. I was, they were
right.
logical ones, no, to tell everyone that I want to be there. I
Mm,
was running
mm,
away from grieving.
True.
I was running away from it.
that is.
It has come
Mm,
very hard to me that it's okay on a day when you're feeling very low to tell your
mm,
client, today I am very low. I don't have
mm,
the energy today to take your session. This is what I've learned in
mm,
last 6 7 months. I've made it very clear. Whenever there is something like this, I tell my client clearly. Either
mm,
they understand and they learn that everyone is a human and we all go through it, and it's okay to
mm,
say that. If I want them to speak to me of their inner self and be honest about it, shouldn't I be the
mm,
example first?
Correct. Yeah.
So I've started being very honest. Today I had a slight argument at home. My mood is not too
mm,
good. I think I can't come
mm,
today. Can we do it tomorrow?
mm,
Is it okay with you? Or will you give me 30
mm,
minutes more? I need some time for myself and then I can come back to you. I've started saying that very, very openly to my client. And earlier, I used to feel, how will it be taken? But the more authentic I am,
Mm.
it is taken in a very beautiful way.
Yeah.
It has been taken, and I'm so lucky that, yes, or I'm blessed. I'm really blessed with that. When your clientele says, absolutely fine, please take rest. We can do it a day or two later. And sometimes they come and tell me, oh my God, that's so much. It's just
Mm.
nothing as compared to what I was overthinking about my situation.
Mm.
And I like that.
Yeah.
And that's nice, isn't it,
Mm.
Sujoy? So
Yeah,
this is the
absolutely.
newest thing
Nice.
where
Mm.
I've come up
The
with.
perspective.
I hope I
Yeah.
answered your question, if
Very,
I'm on
very,
the
very,
right
No,
very,
track
very
of
much.
certainly.
sharing.
Thank you.
Grief
And it
also pulls me
definitely
in and
If I
make me
can,
talk about things, that
yeah,
sometimes
no,
is,
it's
yeah.
definitely
if,
good that uh, I find when I re-review this question, right,
mm,
it goes deeper. It goes definitely deeper than what you could look at the superficial level of thinking. But when you really start going in deep, and what you bring across on the table is something that holds value. I feel it holds value because for saying, and I just read this chapter in a book which came about. I was just I as a fan of going to the bookstores and reading
Dhaval, just a second. We are
I oh
losing you.
shit,
Just a second. We lost you. We lost you. Can you start
yeah.
again? Because I didn't hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was just telling that, at this point where I I I kind of read a chapter in a book it's a book called titled 50 Toughest Questions of Life, and it's
mm,
by my favorite guy called Deepak Ramola, and he's asking Abhay Deol, are you okay?
mm,
And being very honest and being very, very humble enough as well. Abhay says, sometime back, I was just feeling irritated and jittery, and I thought I should, probably say it out rather than covering it up or sugarcoating it with saying, yeah, I'm
mm,
fine. And to be brutally honest is really, really, good because it does not have, uh, I don't get those words, but yeah, sometimes it just really helps to, let the opposite person know that, you care as well. And
mm,
and that adds more value to that bond as well between both you and
True,
the opposite
true,
person as well.
true.
So that's where I
Sometimes,
was
but
thinking
people
that
are not
this.
ready for it also,
okay.
Dhaval. Sometimes people are
Mm,
not ready. So, like, if Sachay
yeah.
asks me, how are you, Tripti? And I say, I'm absolutely not okay today.
Mm,
It
yeah.
depends whom
It
I'm
is
telling
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
I can't say
it
that
is.
to
true.
Like,
everyone,
there
honestly.
has to be that
Yet,
comfort level between people. Yeah.
yet we have to start looking at being authentic and honest than if the other person is ready to receive or not, because we can't always
Mm,
prepare people to
Yeah,
receive
yeah.
what you're ready to give. The
Correct.
audience formulates. I feel that they start
mm,
becoming an audience. You can't have an
Yeah.
audience.
mm,
True. True.
Yeah, audience get
yeah.
created as per what you serve.
Yeah.
If they start liking it, they start coming in, is what I feel. Okay, that's my way of looking
Yeah.
at things.
Completely.
That you
Completely
can
true.
never have a ready-made audience. You can
Mm,
copy something, get better at it, and
mm,
have few of the other people's audience. But if you want your own audience, you have to give that raw. In the beginning, there might be very few who will choose it, but then it starts it starts
mm,
growing. That's how
Yeah.
it grows. You have to give what you can handle it raw. You need to
mm,
learn that. Okay. So I think even when I
yeah.
say, no, I'm not okay today, I think I can't do this, is where sometimes you will have to also take it from the other person saying, "Ki, what is this?
Mm, yeah.
You must,
That.
you need to learn to move on. There might be, advisors and other things coming from
Mm,
the other end.
Yeah. Yeah.
And are you going to go into it and then go back into your old self, or you going to smile and
mm,
say, sorry, that's it, what I can offer for today,
Yeah.
and move on? And you then know they are not the kind of audience you want or the kind of people you want to be with.
So on that
थोड़ा
note,
सीविंग हो
that
जाएगी.
is.
so on that note, Are you really honest enough to be on this podcast right now?
It's an energy. If you
No.
can feel it and
Yeah.
if you can do that, of course. So honest enough, yes, I'm very honest about it. That
Mm,
it takes a lot of courage to say, and I'm telling this right on the podcast that I can tell my client I'm not well today and I'm not coming or I'm not
Yeah.
feeling. Sometimes I
mm,
tell them I'm emotionally not well. I had a bad night. I've told
Mhm.
a client once in the early morning, 7:30 we are
mm,
supposed to meet at the beach. I call her up at 6:30. She just 5 minutes from there, 6:30, 6:45. And I tell her, emotionally, I'm not good enough to come today and have a session with you. I don't know how
mm,
much I'll be able to listen.
mm.
Yeah.
And
That
she
is.
was upset, of course. Last
Mm.
minute cancellation. She was upset, of course. But then I get a call from her at 8
Mm,
and she says, are you okay? Do you want me to
Nice.
mm,
listen to you today?
That's weird. That's really sweet.
mm.
Wow, that was something.
Amazing that.
So,
Yeah.
honest on the podcast, yes, I want to be honest. Yeah,
Mm,
even in the therapist forums, uh, I have
mm,
been the one who have been told कि कौन लेता है ऑनलाइन सेशन जब अब सारी दुनिया लेती है
mm,
उस टाइम पे मुझसे कहा गया था
mm,
कि कौन लेता है ऑनलाइन सेशन इट डजंट वर्क एनर्जी वर्क कैन नॉट वर्क
mm.
ऑनलाइन so I said
Oh,
कि
I
energy
disagree.
is
Totally
invisible isn't
disagree.
it it's like a Wi-Fi
This
Totally
is
disagree.
totally disagree
no.
yeah so anything and everything is possible sometime when you
Yeah.
start
Yeah.
early there will
Mm,
be a lot of people talking a lot of things about
Yeah,
your
there'll be
ways
always
they will
right.
whatever is new will always create an inhibition first
completely, completely.
let that
Yeah.
happen it should not trickle you down
Mm,
Yeah.
it does
mm,
trickle you down it does make you sometimes feel am I too over smart or am I acting too smart or am I trying to be like is it my pride these are
mm,
also the questions I've asked myself why you always want to do it your way is it your pride I check these points
mm.
also within why do you want to do it
Yeah.
your way are you too proud about what you do and you want to do it your way is it something like that are you too stubborn to not adapt I have
Mm,
asked these questions to myself also yeah. Being honest is also
yeah.
difficult very difficult honest very difficult.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right.
So, I mean,
So
with that honesty and things, um, is there in some way the kind of people that you want around you now, or do you find that yeah, you're selecting or choosing the time and your energy to spend with people, what kind of people?
I'm spending more time with myself these days. I'm a good company for myself, honestly. Again, with no pride, of course.
We wouldn't
Yes, but the
agree
question is
less.
beautiful. You won't agree. There's one thing when you ask that question, Sujay, it rings one bell.
Mm,
When you choose yourself and when you know this is what you are and this is what you are going to offer, you start
mm,
receiving people of the same mindset.
right.
You have come to me through Dhaval. Yes. And
Mm,
I don't know how much you agree to what I say and whether it matches your vibe, how it is. You know best. I'm not going to gauge it. I'm going to give it my way. I
mm,
know who are ready to receive it. I will meet all of them slow and steady. And I am meeting it,
mm,
meeting those people.
right.
So
Mm,
uh, the number might be few. Yes, I have also lost people. You must also know that. That is
mm,
important.
Mm.
When you grow raw, you do lose
mm,
people also. It took me a long
yeah.
it took me 2 years to decide I don't want to do. I used to do a lot of children's workshop, as Tawal knows, a lot.
Mm,
And I wanted to take a pause from it. It took me 2 years to take a pause. एक retreat किया. मैंने सोचा gratitude
mm,
retreat करूंगी फिर बोल दूंगी कि
mm,
thank you. We are not
yeah.
going to have any session from June. I did it in April. They all pounced and said, "Oh, you need to still be there." And then one more year I pulled. So trying to please and trying
Right.
to, asking myself
Mm,
also, it's a big chunk of your income. Why do you want to give up on it?
Mm.
At a time when
mm,
everybody wants it, instead of we used to do twice a week and it became 4 days a week. It's come to
right.
that level and it can be 5 days a week now. Why do you want to give up on it? Why? Because I don't want to do that anymore. I want to
Mm,
create more hands who can do it. I don't want to forever do the same thing. I want to take a pause from that.
Mm.
In fact,
Yeah.
it was energetically also giving back
Mm.
a lot. I was receiving so much from the children.
Mm.
Yeah, and it's a boost also. There
Right.
was a lot of boost because parents loved it. Appreciation, दबा के मिल रहा था.
Mm.
सब कुछ
Mhm.
बढ़िया था.
Nice.
But
Awesome.
I've always
Mm.
left something when I'm at the peak. I've seen that.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
that's my pattern also. So I've
Mm.
left many a times when I'm at the peak of it, then I choose something absolutely different and I start
Mm.
going into the other. So I think I like challenges. I like to do that to
Yeah.
myself. I think so. Because that's my
Mm.
energy levels, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
yeah, that's how it is.
Nice. Yeah.
Did I answer your
That is.
question? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
I'm so
No.
sorry.
No. Yeah. Absolutely.
No,
I
we did
mean,
not.
yeah.
तो बोल धवल क्या नहीं बोला tell me
Very well.
ask the question formulate it again and put it back
Related, yeah.
I'll give you homework I'm a teacher
Yes.
after all okay I have it in me
No, just cutting aside the funny part, it really
Well,
made
Dhawal
sense.
doesn't like homework, so.
Yeah, I give it to my son nowadays.
soon it's going to come back don't
No, no.
worry
It,
No, no. Right.
no, that is
No, it
good.
did answer
Yeah.
the question because in these phases of life, across most people who are above the 40, mark, they kind of start looking inward and they feel happy and content with themselves rather. At obviously you're having all your responsibilities, you're having all your things to do and your aspirations to still achieve, but there are those moments in time like today. If I have to look at myself, when I see it myself, I still want that 10 minute of my own self where I'm just leaning over the balcony and looking at the view, irrespective of whether it's day, night, irrespective of whether there are 10 people in the house back behind me, because it just brings me to my own. And I don't
Mm.
care about what is happening around the world at all. If people have to ask me, oh, what's happening with the rupee and what's happening with the dollar and what's happening, I don't care.
At that point, yeah,
just a second just a second
Yeah.
just a
sure.
second just a second that's not enough
Yeah. So that's what I
Mm.
wanted to, really.
so in 50s
Yeah, we are on 10 minutes. Hard stop.
Yes.
so there are other things that happen in 40s you
That
said
has
that so as you turn 50
Oh, God.
you forgetting
Yes.
a lot of things and
Oh,
that's
yeah.
the best part of it because I don't remember so it's better also those 10
Mm.
minutes that whatever the people say you want those 10 minutes those 10 minutes become different like
Mhm.
I can be with someone and yet not be there at all
Oh, totally.
Mm.
Totally.
another thing where you are present you're there and everything and still as I said take in what is required drop what is not required,
Mm.
which in 40 you
Yeah.
will learn by the end of your 40s, 38, 39,
Mm.
40. You will start learning that I can't fight everyone, I can't change things, I can't fight for time also.
Mm.
So I need to make time for myself from all the time that I have with everyone. You learn another skill. It's a skill. It's a skill to be in
Mm.
a huge group and yet do what you feel like doing for your own self also take what you need for yourself also that's another
Mm.
skill that
That is.
slowly you will start learning yeah and that's where also that's where the losses of the people come in that you'll stop being with people who drain your energy
Mm. Yeah.
or you'll be there and then there'll be no exchange it becomes neutral area I've started being like that I can't avoid
Mm.
them so I'll be with them but I start going neutral. So
Mm.
I'm neutral. I'm not taking in anything and I'm not spending at all. The spending stops and then you don't get drained. So this is
Mm.
another skill. So that's for the next
That
50.
is. No, certainly.
That is
No,
what I want to do.
I can completely relate with that. Yes, yeah.
Mhm.
And I mean, with Dhaval and even how it was 20 years ago, in our university, and now what we discuss and we talk, it is. I mean, even though the person is the same, it is what you give and what you take that has changed, right? And काफी honest level से बात होती है, right? And we share and we say the things that we want to, and uh, and people say, right, that even if we don't speak for a long time, we pick up where we left off from, and that is happening, uh, you know uh, uh, with Dhaval, with couple of other people, right? That is um, something that, as we're getting into the 40s and the 50s, certainly I can relate to that.
Yes. I can also relate to it because I also have my one or two very close ones, and we can just start from wherever we are. Where it's
Yeah.
as if even if there was a 6 months or 7 months gap, doesn't make a difference. It's as if we just
Mm.
spoke yesterday. We just start
Yeah.
exactly where we are. So there is no retuning and all that required. So that's not draining now. That's
Yes,
why
that's
we
not.
say we have built that kind of a relationship, which is not draining at all. We begin exactly where we stopped. So that
Mm.
makes you feel easier, no? That makes you feel
Yes,
easier to come back.
yes,
And
true.
also there is no formalities like hi, hello, how are you, खाना खाया,
Mm.
फलाना दी वो
Good.
फलाना इधर क्या कर रहा है ये बोल रहा है
I
देखो
know.
अभी इधर बोल रहा था
Huh.
straight here. So it starts there.
Yes.
I think that
Yeah.
makes a difference too.
That is. Yes.
Those wonderful friendships are developed, the ones which you're
Mm.
carrying long term get deeper at this
Mm.
level, yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean, on a similar sort of a thread, is there something that you think you still need to explore, or you still need to, getting into your 80s, look at
There's a lot more.
what, yeah,
There's a lot more.
so yeah,
Travel.
what
I want
else?
to travel a lot. I love traveling,
Mm,
so I want to travel. And yeah, that's one thing which is so there are so many destinations on my bucket list. So
mm.
mera to bucket list nahi hai. It's a big taki, it's a big huge one. I actually want to travel because I like
Right.
meeting new people. I like doing things like these, so I want to travel. So
Mm,
that's on my thing. And I want to travel till I'm very, very old, so that I'm not dependent
yeah.
on anyone. I want to learn to travel and be
Mm,
happy. And you don't need a company. You create a company, is what I always feel. So wherever I go, I need to find my
mm,
companies and, whatever kind of company. It's not that if it's a 15-year-old, what will I do with a
mm,
15-year-old? And if it's a 10-year-old, what will I do with a 10-year-old or a 25-year-old or 30-year-old? Without
mm.
having any age as a barrier,
Yeah,
this
right.
is one thing which is my goal, that I go anywhere. I'm anyways luckily included in my uh, older people's trips as well as here. So so this
That
is
is.
somewhere I think is my forte, and I want to
Mm,
carry that. I want to develop that. And as you grow old, your tolerance
nice.
towards few things, you start
Mm,
becoming that malleability slightly becomes less, as I've heard.
yeah.
So I don't want to
Mm,
lose that malleability of being flexible in any kind of space, sleeping anywhere. So I don't have a very particular sleeping. I don't want to be
mm,
that also. So I am very still, I try. I can sleep anywhere. So one day if I have to sleep on a couch, I can. If I have to
mm.
sleep down, I don't need my same bedding. I don't need my same things. I try to do that to
Nice.
me a lot. So
Mm,
that's the reason why wherever I go, people say, Ari, my bed has changed, my this has changed, I can't sleep. Not me. So
mm,
whichever is your comfort zone, take it. I can sleep anywhere because
right.
I have to fall asleep.
Uh,
So sleep is
mm,
you have a small bedding and you have something. Same
yeah.
pillow nahi hoga to bhi chalega.
Well,
So
say,
I'm working very
yeah.
hard. I've worked very hard on
Mm,
it. And I'm trying
mm,
to keep that. That has always been my forte. I used to be like that. I don't want to lose it as I grow old, because they
mm.
think, I have heard about it, that people get emotionally this about their purse and their stuff
Yeah,
and
yeah.
their thing.
Yeah,
I'm
true.
trying to let go that. I don't want to be that. So that is one thing which I'm working very hard on. And yeah, so I've given
Yeah,
away my old
that.
saris, my wedding sari and these things. So I've started giving away.
Yeah.
The more I give, the more I will not be attached to things. So I want to get more detached
Uh,
also. I'm very emotional. I get very easily emotionally attached. with people.
Mm,
So yeah, once I love
nice.
people, then I love people. Whether they love me or not,
Mm,
I keep loving. That's how I am. So I want to somewhere also not be too attached with things. So I'm learning that. That's the new
mm.
skill I want to develop for my old age. I think it will give me more peace, is what I feel. Because I've seen aunties, my grannies, and others,
Mm,
struggle with those little things
mm.
about why did someone not handle it
Yeah.
well? How come you
Mm,
want to sell this house? We have stayed here for 30 years, 40 years, whatever. So I don't want to be that.
mm.
Okay, sell the house. Okay, great, sell the house. Get a new one. Oh,
That
wow,
is
that's great. I want to
Nice.
become that.
nice.
I'm still working.
Yeah, yeah,
Not that I've achieved, but I want to.
yeah. No, certainly fantastic. I mean, yes, there are. I mean, if we, I know time is of essence and all that, and if you want to summarize it, that in itself will possibly be another half an hour.
No,
You
no,
have
no,
told us
don't tell
so
me to
many
do that.
things, you have shared so many things, and there's so many. I mean, it not nuggets or pearls of wisdom. It was like a sea of things, and yeah, it was, yeah, and every question or every aspect that you spoke on, elaborated on, and use the kind of metaphors or even real life experiences. I mean, it was just amazing, amazing, fantastic. And even if we
Thank you.
can do some of it, or I'm sure we can keep listening to this again and again. It has been that kind of an hour spent. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you for
so
saying
much.
that. There's one thing I want to tell your audience specifically before we just end it. I want to end it on this note that the newest thing that I've learned, and I want everyone to somewhere be mindful about it, is
Hmm.
I don't know about the other person's action because I can't control it, right?
Yeah.
What actions they will or whatever. I need to look at their
Hmm.
intentions. So I've started
Hmm.
becoming mindful of what was this other person's intention behind whatever he did. He couldn't do it well. That doesn't mean he intended wrong. So what was the other person's
Hmm.
intention? Uh,
Nice. Yeah.
I try to look into situations through how is the other one's intention and not what
Hmm.
actions, because we are all raw with our actions. We don't know what we sometimes intention is good. We go to talk, we want to say something, and then
Hmm.
it just happens out of all what we are carrying inside, the traumas and whatever, whatever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I've started doing that. So I look at people's intention and not their actions. Whereas when it comes to me, I know my
Hmm.
intentions, but I
Hmm.
try to correct my action when they go wrong as per what my intentions were meant. If I'm
Mm.
meant to go and talk and I don't talk and I argue or I do something else and I come,
Hmm.
I've started becoming mindful of that. And I tell myself, whatever your intentions were, your actions didn't match. I need to work on my action. I think
Mm.
that's one thing which every one of us need to do. We correct our
Hmm.
actions, whereas we look at other person only from their intentions. I think
Hmm.
that is bringing a little more peace to me with all the situations that are coming to me also at home. So I think this
Amazing.
is
What
one
a
one
Yes.
huge
what
thing
a
I would like to
strong life
extend to
Well,
lesson.
everyone.
nice. Yes. Yeah,
True.
yeah, yeah. You just jump, and you just want to react to what they've done. But yeah, that is
Impulsiveness.
yeah, slow down and
With action comes
think what they've
reaction.
why.
Correct.
With
Yeah.
intention comes compassion. Once
Wow.
you
Wow.
give,
No.
if you can look at the other person's intention, you will look at it from a compassion. With his action or her action will come your reaction.
I'm trademarking that.
Yeah,
You can't
Oh
use it
I'm
wow.
again.
telling you. So I
Okay,
think
trademark it.
we have just
Almost.
nailed it.
Yes.
I didn't know I will use this word, but then oh wow, this even I'm also repeating
Uh,
to myself that with when you look at
Nice.
At the
intention,
intention comes
we will
compassion.
And
we will
that's
activate
what's
the
special
compassion
about
in
our
it.
podcast. We're so raw.
I think, oh
Ra-
yes, that wow, that came in very beautifully. I loved
That
it
is,
too.
yes,
I
absolutely.
surprise
Wow.
myself
Gosh.
still.
You do.
Yes, you've been saying that. You've proven it
I
as
And
do,
now
well.
we
I do,
vouch
I
for
do,
it.
I do, I do.
Nice. So once again,
So
I know since we are coming to the closure, but thank you very very much, Tripti ma'am. And you know,
Absolutely.
what was
Completely.
discussed over the last couple of weeks and what has transpired is still going to be with
Mm,
us for a long, long, long time, with us forever. And we would really,
absolutely.
look forward to having you back again for another session sometime. And
Wow.
Yes.
we'll work on that definitely. The universe
Yes.
hears
Yes,
it.
why
Will
not?
will do. Will do.
Yes. See,
Certain.
every time I am
Yes.
a Germany, so every time when I talk, it's going to be different. You ask the same question, even after a month later, I'm a different Tripti. I'm
Mm,
not that same Tripti. So I always tell people the same thing comes to me,
mm,
but I'm different. So
Yeah.
yeah,
mm.
I take that too. So thank you so much for
Thank
inviting
you.
me on this podcast. It's an amazing thing. All the best to you all. And I know the people who will once, as I said, when you stay with
Mm.
what you want to do, your audience is getting created. They will come to you. They know what to take
Yes.
from you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
So all the
Thank you
best.
so
And
much.
then,
Thank
yeah,
you.
thank you.
And
Thank
take
you.
care. Bye bye.
Take-
Yes. Bye
Bye.
bye.
Bye bye.